Hello. Today I'm reacting to a band called The Byrds, or a group. I'm not sure. They look like a boy band, but maybe they're a band. And it's like The Byrds, but it's spelled with a Y instead of an I. Like instead of BIRDS, it's BYRDS. Ooh, this was a tipped request. And it's called Chimes of Freedom. Look, I have AirPods in today, so it doesn't disrupt my bow. Okay. All right, let's see how I like this. 1965. That's a long time ago. That's 60 years ago. This is like the olden times. Okay, let's go. Doesn't sound that old.
Far between sundown's finish and midnight's broken tone, we ducked inside the doorway, thunder crashing as majestic bells and bones struck shadows in these sounds, seeming to be the chimes of freedom flashing. Flashing for the warriors whose strength is not to fight. Flashing for the refugees on the unarmed road of flight. And for each and every underdog, soldier in the night. And we gazed upon the chimes of freedom flashing. Curtain in a far-off corner flashed, and the hypnotic splattered mist was slowly lifting. Electric lights still struck like arrows, fired but for the ones condemned to drift, or else we kept from drifting. For the searching ones on their speechless seeking trail, for the lonesome-hearted lovers with too personal a tale, and for each unharmful gentle soul misplaced inside a jail. And we gazed upon the chimes of freedom flashing. Starry-eyed and laughing as I recall when we were caught, kept by no track of ours, for they hanged suspended. As we listened one last time, and we watched with one last look, spellbound and swallowed till the tolling ended. Tolling for the aching ones whose wounds cannot be nursed, for the countless countries that use misuse strung out bombs
By his purse.
and for every hung-up person in the whole wide universe. And we gazed upon the chimes of freedom flashing.
I mean, they're a solid band, good singing, good guitars, good drums. It's almost like an industry plant band where they're like, let's just get 5 good looking guys to make a band together. And then you could just cover whatever you wanted back then because everything was a cover. When I did the like top songs of 1965, or was that what I did? 1968? I forget. It was basically like half of them were covers of some other stuff that had already come out. And I was like, huh, that's weird. So covering was like a thing back then. So they're like, oh, just have them sing like Bob Dylan's song. It's like, yeah. I was typing that. I saw that Bob Dylan biopic. I forget what it was called. I'm gonna just imagine it was called Tambourine Man because like that's what I would have called a Bob Dylan biopic. But I learned about like there was this like folk singer guy named like Woody Guthrie, and he's the one that sang "This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to the New York Islands, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me." Anyway, and then Bob Dylan was like, trying to sing in all these like folk places and whatever. And then he met this like girl who was also a singer, and I forget her name. But then like they had this like relationship, but he had a girlfriend and he was cheating on her. And then he wanted to start using electric guitars. But then the folk people were like, you can't use electric guitars in folk. And they were like, you can't do that because they're all about like convention and like tradition, because folk tradition comes from like old Americana in a way, right? So they're like, you can't do that. You can't use electric guitars. He's like, I want to use an electric guitar. And then he used an electric guitar. And that's basically the plot of the movie. But it was really good. And I learned a lot about Bob Dylan. When I was growing up, you know that Bob Dylan poster where it's like rainbow 60s looking, and then it's like it's like in black silhouette. It's like his silhouette, his like side profile image. I grew up with that poster in my house, and it was just like Dylan. And I was like, oh, cool. So, yeah, that's all I know about Bob Dylan. Do you guys know I haven't reacted to any Bob Dylan on my channel? I just want you to know. But I saw Bob Dylan live in May of 2025 at the Outlaw Music Festival at the Hollywood Bowl. And he's like really old now, and he kind of mumbles. He's like, and he plays piano now. He doesn't play guitar, and he has like a good band behind him. And apparently, what I learned a few months ago was the band who was in that movie by Martin Scorsese, who's this apparently a film director. I only know him because he was in that movie called Pretend It's a City. It was like a Netflix thing during COVID with that interesting like feminist woman who's very New York. Anyway, so they had this movie called The Last Dance, and it was with the band, and apparently the band was like Bob Dylan's band. And so that's what I know. So that's basically everything I know about Bob Dylan. And was it Joan Baez was the girl? I don't remember. The point is, that was the plot. He was kind of an asshole. He kind of cheated on his girlfriend. He kind of was a selfish prick. But yeah, that was the plot. Now the Byrds, I don't know anything about them, but they just seem like an industry band. Like, let's just get this amazing group together called the Byrds, and they'll have a tambourine and typical 60s sound, and they'll do Dylan's song. I love it. Okay, look at my reaction. I go on and on and on. I love it. We are going to, and they do have really nice vocal harmonies. My tipper was right. And I haven't really heard, I think I might have heard the original of that in a clip in that movie because they had his like clips throughout, but I never heard his like single version of it. Let me just close all my other windows. So yeah, what was up in that one window is I was showing you my link tray. So this is how you put a request into the form if you want me to do something as a reaction. But yeah, the Byrds were cool. And like, why spell it with an I when you can spell it with a Y? Why use a drum when you can use a tambourine? Like, there's a lot of cool things about 1965. Why sing about oppression when you can sing about freedom? Those are all the cool, like, 60s themes. All right, I guess I have to do more videos now. Ooh, the next one's gonna be a $40 tip. Hey, big spender, spend a little time on me. Okay, I gotta go. Bye.